The efficiency of the licensing process, and indeed of nuclear plant construction and operation, depends on standardization. Even though we have 5 reactor designs in play, the industry is committed to maintaining strict standardization for each design. On its side, the industry has formed design-centered working groups for each design to ensure common approaches among all companies using that design. On its side, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission has adopted a policy of one issue, one review, one decision. Ultimately, these techniques will shorten the process of license review and approval. To ensure readiness for construction, procedures for the itec closure process and construction inspection process are being developed now. Industry task forces and NRC staff are working towards a common understanding of itec inspection and startup activities. Timelines and resources are being reviewed by both sides to ensure we are all prepared to support fuel load and startup on schedule. In 2 areas, supply chain and workforce development, we're seeing compelling evidence that the laws of supply and demand still work. Over the past year, we've seen a steady stream of announcements from companies that are adding to design and engineering staff, expanding their capability to manufacture nuclear-grade components, or building new manufacturing facilities, partly in preparation for new build in the United States, partly to serve the growing world market. We've listed a few examples here. Areva and Northrop Grumman Shipbuilding formed a joint venture last year to build a new manufacturing and engineering facility in Newport News, Virginia. This $360 million facility will manufacture heavy components such as reactor vessels, steam generators, and pressurizers. Global Modular Solutions, a joint venture of Shore Group and Westinghouse, is building a fabrication facility at Port of Lake Charles in Louisiana to produce structural piping and equipment modules for new nuclear plants using the Westinghouse AP1000 technology. Even for ultra-heavy forgings, we're seeing expansion of capacity by Japan Steelworks, and companies in South Korea, France, and Great Britain are planning new facilities. We are working with the federal government, state governments, universities, community colleges, high schools, labor unions, utilities, other trade associations, and professional organizations to address the workforce challenges. Let me give you a few highlights. Electric utilities have created 42 partnerships with community colleges to train the next generation of nuclear workers. We're developing standardized, uniform curriculum to ensure that graduates will be eligible to work at any nuclear plant and can start work almost immediately. 16 states have developed programs to promote skilled labor development. Enrollment in nuclear engineering programs has increased over 500% since 1999. Grant programs from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the Department of Energy, the Department of Labor, and the Department of Defense for education and training are having a large impact on increasing our trained workforce. So we're encouraged by the progress in this area. Let me close with some thoughts on the year ahead and what we can expect from the new administration and the new Congress. As you know, the Democrats gained 7 seats in the Senate and 21 seats in the House in last November's election. Also in the process, we lost some significant champions, notably Senator Pete Domenici, and have acquired some new challenges. For example, the House Energy and Commerce Committee is certainly more liberal than it was. The committee has very broad jurisdiction. Approximately 2/3 of the legislation that originates in the House goes through the Energy and Commerce Committee. So the new composition of this committee is a challenge for the business community in general, for the entire electric sector, and not just for the nuclear industry. We enjoy strong support among House leadership, notably the Majority Leader, Congressman Steny Hoyer, and the Majority Whip, Congressman James Clyburn. Mr. Hoyer, for example, represents the district where Constellation Energy already operates 2 Calvert Cliff units and where Unistar Nuclear intends to build a 3rd unit. Remember also that neither party, Democratic or Republican, is monolithic. For example, nuclear power enjoys strong support among progressive Democrats in the House who generally support a high-tech, pro-growth agenda. And also remember that last year it was a Democratic Congress that provided $38.5 billion in loan guarantee authority, including the $20.5 billion for nuclear projects. On balance, we have challenges, but we have bipartisan support in Congress, and we are developing new champions. We're also encouraged by what we see so far from the new administration. President Obama has stated unequivocally that, quote, "I favor nuclear power as one component of our overall energy mix, given that it doesn't emit greenhouse gases," close quote. We believe the President's selection of Dr. Stephen Chu, Nobel Prize winner and former director of Lawrence Berkeley Lab, reflects a desire to ensure that energy policy is based on sound science and solid facts. As an industry, we welcome being evaluated on that basis. And certainly during his confirmation hearing, the new Secretary of Energy was clear about his positions on nuclear. He clearly recognizes the importance of the loan guarantee program and intends to push it forward. And he recognizes the importance of nuclear in the U.S. energy portfolio. We also believe that the key energy priorities of the Obama administration and the Congress are well served by nuclear power. They place a high priority on job creation, and particularly green job creation, and we are making a major contribution there. Nuclear energy is one of the few bright spots in the U.S. economy. We're expanding rather than contracting, creating jobs rather than eliminating them. We're still 2 or 3 years away from significant construction at the sites, but the prospects of new build has already created 15,000 jobs over the last 2 or 3 years, and that's just the leading edge. The number of new jobs will expand dramatically after 2011, when the first wave of these new reactors start construction. The new administration and Congress places a high priority on energy efficiency and renewables. As I discussed earlier, even aggressive energy gains, efficiency gains, will not displace the need for new baseload generating capacity, and renewables cannot meet baseload power needs. Finally, the new administration and Congress are determined to address climate change. We see almost universal agreement that any credible program to reduce carbon emissions in the electric sector will require a portfolio of technology, and that portfolio must include more nuclear power. We haven't seen any credible analysis of climate challenge that does not include substantial nuclear expansion. In fact, many analyses of proposed legislation contemplate build rates that we would be hard-pressed to meet. Our agenda is relatively simple. We have 3 major priorities. The first and always the top priority is safe and reliable operation of the 104 plants that supply 20% of America's electricity. To sustain the solid performance over the last decade, we must have a stable regulatory process administered by a credible, independent regulatory agency. The new administration will have 2 vacancies on the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to fill this year. We are encouraging consideration of seasoned candidates with the credentials and objectivity necessary to manage the agency well and represent the United States effectively on the world stage. A predictable, disciplined licensing process is also essential to maintain the momentum in new plant development. And as I've discussed, we have unfinished business in the area of financing. The loan guarantee program authorized by the 2005 Energy Policy Act was an important step in the right direction. The program was designed to jumpstart construction of just a few clean energy projects using innovative technology. That goal remains as valid now as it was in 2005. But today we face an additional challenge: financing large-scale deployment of clean energy technologies. This challenge can be addressed in a number of ways: by creating a new federal financing corporation, a clean energy development bank, or by restructuring the existing loan guarantee program